In terms of, because I'm always looking at things in a war context, the Hebrew Israelite faith requires them to not respond to white aggression until Yeshua comes out of the sky and assists them with his millions of angels. So here's an ideology that is never going to topple white supremacy until some crazy event that is never going to happen happens. That's the only trigger that they're going to be allowed to actually fight white supremacy. So they're stuck within the ideology that's going to keep them docile, regardless of how hard they might work out, how well they may train, how well they may cadence and march and yell in unison with each other. At the end of the day, that's just a drumline band. You feel what I'm saying? Because they're not going to be racially aggressive against our racial enemies until this event that's never going to happens. So they have this trap door to escape fighting against white supremacy. Jesus is their savior, right? And regardless of whether you believe Jesus was black or white, this is what I always tell people. I never heard anybody say this, but I say it all the time. Jesus was a man who did not fight for his life, okay? He walked to his death peacefully, okay? So whether you believe he was white, whether you believe he was black, you cannot take that out of the story. This was a man who was not willing to fight for his life. So if every black man decided to follow in the footsteps of Jesus, bro, what position would we be in? We would not be willing to fight for our lives. So these Hebrew Israelites propping up Jesus as our savior and as someone, a role model that we should follow after, that's black manhood being docile. You feel what I'm saying? That's not black manhood at all.
Shaka Sankofa Gary Graham said that when you come to get me, he said, when you come to get me, I'm not making bring no damn priest to read to me. I'm not saying no prayer with no cracker priest. Don't come to me with no last meal, Gary Graham said, Shaka Sankofa. He said, don't come to walk me to my death. If you choose to execute me, know that when you come for me, I'm going to fight like hell to kill everyone that comes in my cell. And if they can't kill them, they'll be like Rochelle McGee, who's with Jonathan Jackson. They had to build a wall between Rochelle McGee and the judge. They used to bring him in court in a helicopter and bring him down through the roof, scared for his feet to touch the ground anywhere. He couldn't get to him. At first he could get to the judge. He would attack the judge in the courtroom. They started putting restrainers on him in the court. He couldn't get up anymore. So he would just and spit on the damn judge. That's all he had was his spit as a black man. And so he would just spit on the damn judge. So then they built a glass wall, bulletproof, as though he had a gun, between one black man, Rochelle McGee, and the old cracker judge. That's fighting. That's by any means necessary. That's what it is.
That's a major issue here. Your most prime example of black manhood, because black Hebrew Israelites believe Jesus was a black man, wasn't even willing to fight for his life. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if we all adopted that mentality, we'd be hella screwed. We already screwed, but we'd really be screwed.
Right.
So that's why. That's my issue with Hebrew Israelites.
Okay, thanks for laying that out proper. The next set we're gonna go into the Moors.